Here, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Go ahead, Pastor.
They was facing a fiery situation. Come on now. They had already proven themselves faithful to God. And then here come the enemy that had taken them captive. And he builds a statue and tells everybody they need to bow down. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, God been too good to us all this time. We might be going through something. We already in captivity. But we know if we coming out, it's only God that's going to bring us out. Don't make no sense for us to compromise since we're going through. But they said we got to stay faithful. And then the king comes up with a plot. He says, I'm going to turn the fire up. It's going to get worse if you don't serve me. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they looked at that statue and said, I can't bow down because I know I might be bound right now. I might be going through something right now. But I know it's only God that has kept me to this point. And if I turn on him now, I'll never make it out. But if I can just make a commitment in the midst of my trouble, I know I'll be all right. Can I share something with you? You might be going through, but you're still here. It's some people that's been through some of the stuff that you're going through that have not made it this far. That proves to you right there. We get in trouble and get to hollering, Lord, where are you? And you got to recognize he's right there. That's why you still standing. The same captivity that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego found themselves in. A lot of people died in that war, amen. But God kept them alive. They were going through something, but they still had a shot because they knew as long as I'm alive, it's because God kept me. You got to know you're still here because God kept you. You might be going through, but you would not even be here if God had not kept you. It might not be all right, but God kept you. And see, you got to understand something. God don't keep nothing he don't intend to use. Oh, come on up in here. If he kept you, he must plan to fulfill that good plan he got for your life. I don't care what you're going through. If you made it this far, it's because God has a plan for you. And if you can hold on and stay committed to him, you need to know it's going to be all right. So they said, Lord, I know you didn't bring me this far to leave me. I might be going through a little something, but I know you didn't keep me when I watched folks around me die. I watched them die off. I watched them give up. I watched them backslide. I watched them go backward, God. But you kept me. I'm still here. I know something, God. I might be going through, but Lord, I know you did not bring me this far to leave me.
Yes, I know, Lord. I know, Lord.
So they said, so we got to make a commitment. Don't think those boys wasn't scared when the king started talking about heating up that furnace. Don't think that fire didn't look hot. Oh, come on up in here. Amen. But they had to make a decision. But see, what you got to understand, they had to make an outward decision. But the thing that kept them is they had already made an inward decision. They made up their mind when they went and refused the king's food. Amen. We're going to be faithful to God. We ain't even going to start eating what the enemy is handing out. See, and that's the problem. Too many of us, we've been hiding and eating what the enemy been handing out. Amen. And now we wonder why we get to this point of trial and don't have the strength to stand. But they had they had made an inward commitment. And their inward commitment took care and answered everything that was on the outside. That's why they said, what verse was it, 16? They said, oh, king, we are not careful to answer you. They said, ain't even no decision got to be made. We already made up our mind. Come hell or high water, live, die, sink, swim, perish, or survive, we will serve the Lord. So they said, we ain't even got to think about this. So that's how tight you want to get in your salvation. When trials and troubles come, where you can say, I ain't even got to think about this. I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to serve the Lord. You know what made it easier for them to get through in that instant? Because they had already made an inward commitment. So they said, oh, king, we are not careful to answer you. They said, this don't even require a lot of thought because we already know what we're going to do. We're going to stay faithful to God. Because we done been through some things already. Amen. People died around us going through what we're going through, but God has kept us. Amen. We already made up our mind. We're going to stay faithful to God. So this trial, this new trouble, this new situation you trying to put in front of us, it ain't going to make us change our mind, because we already made the commitment on the outside and on the inside. And the commitment that we made on the inside going to deal with and answer everything that goes on the outside. See, you got to understand, that's what we lack in the body, an inward commitment to God. That's why we're flaky. Sometimes we feel like a nut, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we saint, sometimes we ain't. Sometimes we in, sometimes we out. Sometimes we're faithful for a month, then we come out, because we have not made an inward commitment. But they said, King, we're not careful to answer thee in this matter. They said, if it be so. In other words, they said, if you get to take us to that furnace. See, you got to understand, the devil can't do everything that he's threatening to do. You know how when he said, I'm going to kill you, if he could have killed you, don't you know you would have been dead a long time ago. If he could kill you, somebody would have already pronounced ashes to ashes and dust to dust. So you got to recognize